Hello and welcome to my first ever YouTube video. Yay! I'm feeling super excited to embark on this new journey, and I hope that you join me too, especially because this is long form content and my soul has been craving so deeply to actually be able to dive into topics, to go down rabbit holes and explore and document it on my camera and then share it with the world. And that's something that I've been truly, really missing. To give you some background information, hello, I'm Anna. I'm 22 years old. I am from Latvia. And in the past year, I have been sharing my thoughts and realizations all around the topic of self improvement, mindful growth, and practical spirituality on TikTok. However, as I already mentioned, I've been missing the chance to actually dive deeper into topics and explore them more than just be concerned about what kind of visual hook I should use. I've been noticing that that hasn't been feeling quite fulfilling for me, so I thought that long form content would be something that I identify with way better, but it's still something that we'll have to get used to. So bear with me if there are many cuts in this video. And I feel like it is also important to explain to you why I even started with TikTok in the first place, especially because it connects so well to today's topic. For me, just like for everyone else, life had its ups and downs. This led to me having to experience quite a lot of childhood trauma and quite a lot of depressive episodes during my teenage years. And at some point, just like many people, I got to such a dark place that I was ready to do anything to feel a little bit better. And that was the start of my self healing journey. I was just so tired of seeing myself as a victim. I was tired of seeing life from such a negative point of view. I wanted to be able to enjoy life again. I wanted to feel like that child in my home country again, where I get to frolic and laugh and actually enjoy life fully without feeling like I am holding myself back from any wounds that I am refusing to heal. Because at that point, I had spent almost a decade in being in a very dark, negative place. I wanted change. And the change was hard, but it was 100% worth it. And years later, my life did a 180-degree turn, and I had never been happier than I was or that I am now. So, a few years later, as I was embarking on my healing journey, a realization hit me, and it was that no matter how happy and fulfilled I am, I cannot enjoy this happiness. I cannot enjoy life if other people are still suffering. And I feel like this is a point that you can never pass by if you are on your healing journey. In order for you to be able to live a fulfilled life where you feel safe, where you feel loved and at peace, there is no room for suffering of others. If you are going through your healing journey, it is not a question of if this point will come to you. It's much rather the question when this realization will come to you. And that was the point where I started to have this urge inside of me that I want to be of service to others. I want to contribute to the community and help make the world a better place. As I was on this self healing journey, I also realized that if you heal yourself, you also heal the world, which is so interesting because it sounds like such an individual thing, but at the same time, you're contributing so much to the community as well. And this is how we get to the next chapter, the ripple effect of healing. You always view the world through your own lens. No matter what you experience, you always filter it out through your nervous system, through your experiences. And based on that, you make a decision whether an experience is good or not. That's how you can also explain that one notorious picture where there are two people sitting on the bus, and one of them is looking at the stone wall right next to them, and the other person is admiring the sunset or the sunrise or just the nature that was there. I don't fully remember, but even though these two people are in the same room, they're viewing life completely differently because each of them have their own lens. If you do not tend to your wounds, they will always filter your lens, and you will always have a different perspective on life, which doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad, but if you're constantly carrying wounds around yourself, it impacts your life. It's like walking with a broken leg and saying that you're fine. When you work on yourself, you start to clean away any kind of filters from your lens that negatively impact your life. And suddenly, anger is being replaced with understanding. Bitterness and hurt is being replaced with compassion. So, as you make this transformation, the world around you changes as well. It becomes softer, more loving, and you influence people around you as well, and even strangers. A positive mindset is a very contagious mindset, just like a negative mindset. Whatever you put out sticks to people, sticks to your environment. On your healing journey, I feel like this wonderful and beautiful shift happens where you start to focus on the good things, on things that you're grateful for, and on wonderful things. Most of the times, these are completely little things that you previously maybe didn't even notice. Personally, I never noticed, but I feel so happy and grateful to even wake up every day and to just be able to feel my body laying under cozy covers. This I carry into my everyday life, and suddenly I smile at more strangers. I say good morning and hello to people that pass me by as I walk my dog. You and I know how little gestures can make such a big difference to people who are having a hard day. That is something that I never did while I was tending to my wounds in a bad way, where I let myself suffer, where I let myself be in the darkness, because those were just things that I wasn't even seeing. I was way too caught up in my own head. So, if you heal your wounds, you stop projecting, projecting them onto your environment. And that is how we get to the next topic. No one is born evil. No one is born and immediately has evil intentions. Nobody is born evil. Instead, people are made evil. Trauma, pain, and suffering distort people into projecting suffering onto others. All of these negative feelings arise only at a later point in life through the things that they experience, which in return results in these people having desires and wants that mask their trauma, their pain. Oftentimes, these desires and wants are formed in order to prove something either to themselves or to the outer world. And to understand better what I'm talking about, I would love to share one example with you. And that is the want, or should I rather say desire, to own sports cars. Most people don't want to drive a Lamborghini or Porsche because they truly like the car by itself, but because of the emotions and reactions that are tied to it. If you dig deeper, most of the times those people want to show off towards others or feel superior, feel better than others. And again, if you dig deeper into this question, why do you want to show off to others? Why do you want to feel superior? Why do you want to feel better than anyone else? If you dig long enough, you will soon realize that these people had some kind of experience in their earlier days that made them form this desire or want. This desire is only a mask trying to disguise the pain of feeling like you're never good enough. If you have never received praise, that creates the desire to do a lot and to have a lot of materialistic proof of your achievements. Or the example when somebody is very filled with hate, and that is if a person is being bullied. Sometimes the desire can form that you want to put others into the same position that you were put in. You look at others and you think that it is so unfair that they didn't have to go through what you went through, and it makes you feel better to see other people suffer. Obviously, these are just these two examples. There are thousands of different scenarios, but the core of it all is that any want, any desire that you have is always tied with your emotions. If you truly sit down and ask yourself, why do you want to have those things that you desire to have? You will soon realize that they all stem from something that you experienced, which doesn't have to particularly be negative. It can also be positive things. To sum all of this up into one sentence, I would say that healing is a revolutionary act because it breaks cycles. And that is how we can talk about healing as collective work. I'm a true believer in the fact that if we all work on ourselves, the world can become a better place because we would all become more kind, more compassionate, and more loving. And through that, communities and a society as a whole could become a much better place. Because as I mentioned earlier at the beginning of this video, if you are working on yourself, if you're healing and tending to all of your wounds with love, you will soon realize that there is no place for other people to suffer if you yourself want to lead a happy life. And that is why I do still have hopes for the world. As an example, whole families could become much more loving. They would learn how to communicate in a healthy way, which again, the children will learn from, and also grow up in a much safer environment, which would then ripple through the whole community. As I said, we all would become so much more aware of each other and wish only the best for each other. In a space like this, hatred and suffering and chaos simply cease to exist. I'm not saying here that you are supposed to now do one of the most craziest things on earth, that you should now move to the temple and meditate 24/7 to be able to work on yourself and heal. Healing already starts in the smallest of acts. It is about pausing and breathing before you make a choice on how you will respond to a situation. It is about speaking kindly to yourself and not calling yourself stupid anymore. It is about finding an outlet for yourself instead of bottling all of your emotions up. Will it be journaling or dancing or any kind of other movement? Personally, the biggest shift that I experienced in my life was when I would reflect on every situation that caused any kind of heavier emotion inside of myself. Whenever somebody would say things that really hurt me, I would find a quiet minute for myself and just write about why I was feeling the way that I felt when this person said that. Why was I crying now? Why was that so painful for me? This just helped me understand my way of thinking, my way of acting towards certain situations. And at the end of this whole text, when I would have bawled my eyes out, when I felt like I had written down everything that I was feeling and ready to finish this chapter, I would always ask myself what I can learn from this situation. And so far, that was something that made the biggest shift for me, because I then realized, oh, I can learn this from the situation. Here, I'm also not saying that you are the one that's always at fault. Sometimes for me, those would even be realizations like, I need to create distance towards my family. I need to talk less with them. I need to protect my own peace. This is a very important part, that you are not always the one that needs to be fixed. You are not always the one that needs to work on yourself and reflect. Sometimes there are people who need to do work and they're not ready for that yet. Sooner or later, they will realize that they too want to heal, because no one of us truly wants to live a evil life. We all crave more or less the same thing. Even if you look at the person that you hate the most, they too crave to come home and be held in a embrace by a loved one. They too wish to have a safe life where they have enough to eat, where they have a warm shower. I feel like this too is an effect of compassion that comes into your life when you are healing. And lastly, there is this one phrase that I would love to read out to you from my journal that I wrote down as I was planning this video. If you are on your healing journey, know that you are not only helping yourself, you're also helping the world. And remember, the ripple always begins with a single drop. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you stayed till here, thank you so much for watching and listening to what I have to say. I hope that this wasn't too scattered all over the place and that you could get the gist of this video. With that, I'm sending a lot of love from my heart to yours, and I'm wishing you a wonderful day wherever you are.